I'm now seeking representation for my television series Greenhaven, a premium medical conspiracy thriller 10 years in the making. Greenhaven follows Omari Jackson, a young, black and gifted medical student caring for his terminally ill mother inside one of the world's most prestigious hospitals. Whilst her health starts to worsen, Omari stumbles upon evidence of a black book medical program, a hidden layer of science operating deep within the hospital's walls, and one implicating a secret cure that just might be able to save her. Thrust into a dangerous new world, one boy's search for his mother's cure quickly turns into a fight for survival, as powerful forces move to retrieve the evidence and silence him before the truth reaches the outside world. Greenhaven has been years in the making, and the reason this story exists is deeply personal. From the age of 10, I spent 6 years watching my own mother battle an extremely rare and incurable autoimmune disease. Sitting in hospital corridors and beside her bed during long-term inpatient stays, which at times stretched to 6 months, I watched on as even the highest doctors and consultants arrived from far, trying to figure out the best course of action in relation to her condition. In 2016, 3 months after I began writing the earliest iterations of Greenhaven, my mother passed away, 5 days before Christmas in the one place she wanted to get away from. And spending much of my teenage years in a state of observation, it gave me a perspective on hospitals that most people never see. The systems, the contradictions, and the humanity you find inside these institutions. Something that I would later find and realize by traveling the world is a universal experience. That lived experience is the emotional core of the series. Now, as for me, I was born and raised in Newtown, an inner city neighborhood on the south coast of England, a neighborhood once labeled the most deprived area in the region, an area once visited by the late Queen following mass demonstrations and protests for living conditions, and an area that in 2014 would find itself portrayed through a highly controversial and two-dimensional Channel 4 documentary, Immigration Street. But long before television crews arrived, I'd already begun telling stories there myself. At 10 years old, my best friend Lewis Avery and I started making short films around the neighborhood. And after school, on weekends and in the holidays, we'd head back to his home in Albion Towers in St. Mary's and take his Olympus camera, the SP350, write a quick script, and sneak back out to the school field and the woods and film our stories we wanted to say, some of which are still online to this day. Now, they were nothing fancy, but they were the start of something. There was something brewing inside of me, something whispering that this is what you have to do. This is how you escape. Movies had already captured my imagination by then. Sitting on the metal bar in the television aisle of my local supermarket at just 7 years old, I was completely captivated by 2006 James Bond Casino Royale. And so whilst my mum and my sister would go and do the shopping, I'd rush to the TV aisle and I'd sit there for hours watching the movie in fragments until I had completed it. And even though the opportunities in neighborhoods like mine are limited, I always knew what I wanted. And without any handouts or things given on a silver platter, I knew I had to work harder than most for what I believed in. And since that day in September 2016, sitting in my film class whilst my mother was slowly dying, I've built my path intentionally. Working in a theatre, graduating with a Bachelor Honours degree in English literature, having the pilot episode of Greenhaven recognised on the blacklist in the spring of 2021 in LA, gaining production credits with ITV and National Geographic, booking a one-way flight to China to teach and lead drama classes, and working internationally with warrior retreats and youth-led programs from Bali, Peru, and India. Every experience has shaped both me and the series. But why Greenhaven? And why now? These are good questions. After all these years, Greenhaven continues to hit the cultural zeitgeist. In an era where institutional failures, medical scandals, and government crises regularly dominate the front pages, audiences are increasingly drawn to stories that question the systems we're meant to trust. And yet, despite the popularity of conspiracy thrillers, there still isn't a series that explores those themes within the world of elite medicine, especially within the high-stakes, character-driven world created in this series. At its core, Greenhaven asks a simple but unsettling question. What happens when the institutions we trust most begin hiding their darkest secrets? And the series will follow the consequences of that discovery, forcing its characters to confront difficult choices about truth, loyalty, and how far they are willing to go to protect the people they love the most, even if that puts them in the crosshairs. Greenhaven is a character-driven thriller about power, truth, and community, grounded in lived experience inside the world it portrays. Now, the mission is simple. To mark the 10-year anniversary of when this all began, I am now searching for an aligned manager and agent who believe in the project, who believe in the story, but more importantly, believe in me, and can help bring Greenhaven to a major US network, including Netflix and HBO. The 20th of December 2026 marks not just 10 years since my mother's passing, but also 10 years since I began writing this story at 17 years old, in a small inner-city bedroom in Newtown, fueled with a belief that Greenhaven has the DNA of being one of the greatest shows in the world, known the globe over for its compelling story, its dedication to the arts, and for attracting a talented cast and crew who are all equally committed in delivering a story that the audience deserve and can truly invest in. Thank you, and see you soon.